So I thought that I would take some time in the midst of everything to kind of explain a little better the process and what is going on. Okay, so as you know, if you have been following along with our videos, we got our encuentro date, or our meet date. So that was the day that we met up with Juan, and hopefully you saw that video. Oh, there goes the cars. There's always lots of traffic and cars out here. So that was the day that we met up with Juan. On that day, we had a meeting with ICBF, or Colombian Social Services. Now, when I understand, some adoption cases do not go directly through ICBF. ICBF ultimately handles all of them, but some of them are handled by other entities within Colombia, and one of them is La Casa. The process can be a little different if it's going through a different entity, but because ours was directly through ICBF, we came out to the hometown of the child being adopted, which was Medellin. As far as I understand, if it's going through another entity like La Casa, it would go to Bogota. That's where they handle all their cases. So yeah, so I've had some contact with some people on Facebook who have gone through this process, and they've gone through La Casa, and the children will go to Bogota from their hometowns to complete the whole adoption process. But we were able to come out to Medellin first, and I mean, on the one hand, it's more expensive because we've got to then fly out to Bogota. So it's a little more expensive, but on the other hand, it gives us the opportunity to get to know the hometown of the child, where Juan is from, and that helps us kind of understand him a little bit better, and he can show us things that, you know, are part of him, places he's been and things that he's experienced, which is really cool. So so getting back to the encuentro day, we had a meeting with ICBF, and they gave us some information about Juan, some things that we already knew, some things we didn't know, some things that his foster mother wanted to communicate about him. And I feel like they did a really good job. The meeting was at least an hour. It might have been longer. I feel like they did a much better job in talking about information than when we had the meeting with ICBF in Bogota for Paula's adoption. That meeting, they just went over information that was in her report. It was information that we already had. We read through all of it, and they just kind of hashed over the same information, which was kind of disappointing because we were really wanting to get, know some other things. So I just kind of expected it would be the same thing this time, but they told us some other things that I didn't know, some things that, there were a couple things especially that I felt like were quite important to know about. So I was really happy about that. After that meeting, then Juan came in and we did pictures. I mean, you saw the little video and the pictures. We did a little party with cake and soda, and we gave him the Stitch stuffed animal. And then we just spent the rest of the day, I really hope you can hear me. We spent the rest of the day kind of exploring around this area of Medellin, which is called Poblado. Poblado is more of the touristy area, nicer area. And they have this one section called Provenza that has just mostly restaurants and a lot of nightlife. And we walked down to the Parque Poblado, the Poblado Park, and they had people with tents selling things. So what's happening now, so you know, because it might look like we're not really doing anything, we're just on vacation, which we kind of are. So this next week is called the bonding week, and it's time for us to just get to know each other as a family, go around and do things together, and it's kind of that last minute opportunity to decide, like, are we actually going through with this adoption or not? And both the family can decide for sure, and the child as well, because after a week there will be a bonding meeting, and we meet with ICBF again, and we all meet with them individually and talk with them. And I mean, anybody in the family, the child being adopted, could say, I don't know, I don't think this is gonna work, I've changed my mind, I don't want to do it. Which of course is super hard and heartbreaking, because you've gone through the whole process, you're already out here to complete the adoption, you're in country, traveling, and then kind of last minute pulling the plug. So, you know, it's just how it goes. But it, you know, it's important that everybody have the chance to choose to do this and not be like forced into it. The bonding week, and then there'll be the bonding meeting, and then right after that we will travel down to Bogota. We're gonna fly to Bogota. We'll only really be in Bogota for a day or two. We're not really gonna do anything there at this time, because then we'll be going down to La Mesa. And it's just gonna kind of depend on ICBF and our lawyer and everything. They're kind of dictating the schedule a little bit. But we'll get down to La Mesa, and that's a little town outside of Bogota, and that is where the court is that handles all of the adoptions. We'll be there in La Mesa probably about a week, week and a half. It just kind of depends on how long it takes for that whole process to happen in La Mesa, for them to see us and finalize the paperwork. And so the nice thing about that is, yes, there's things being done. There are a couple other appointments and things that we have to do other than just that court meeting. But that's also just more time for hanging out together and doing things together, exploring, going swimming, whatnot. So in La Mesa then, after we go to court and we get all the paperwork signed, that's what finalizes the adoption. After that, Juan will be completely adopted. He's part of our family. It's all legally binding. So then after that, we will go to back to Bogota. And in Bogota, there will be some more things that have to be done, like getting his passport, visa. He's gonna have to have a medical appointment, get some vaccinations, just some things like that. So there will be a little bit of time for, you know, doing some things, seeing some things in Bogota, but we're going to be doing a lot more running around, doing appointments and whatnot. Yay! So that whole process hopefully will only take 5 weeks. Hopefully it won't take any longer than 5 weeks, but we'll see. So as far as my husband goes, because of his job in the military, he's going to leave after we get to Bogota. He will fly home, and then legally now in most cases both parents have to be there for signing the papers in court. Because of our military situation, we were able to, I guess our agency, the lawyer, I don't really know all the details, but all he legally really has to do is fly back to pick us up, and then we all fly home together as a family. I almost say that with some trepidation because I don't want any other families to be like, oh, okay, that's how it works. So we'll talk to our agency about doing that. The thing is, like, every situation is kind of a little bit different. It kind of depends on the laws at the time. It depends on what the agency and the lawyers can work out with different government agencies. And I mean, it depends on your job too. I think they take into account a lot more military. They know that military, a lot of times there's not a lot of give that can happen, but that doesn't mean that it will work out for you. Don't take what we are doing as something that will work out for you and how that process will be for you. Whatever your situation is, you've got to work it out with your agency, with the lawyers, with ICVF, with, you know, all the government agencies that are involved with your case. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at for the rest of this process. Today we're just going to be kind of chilling a little bit more. We're going to be going to a mall. We need to get Juan a swimsuit so that we can go swimming. We have a swimming pool here in our hotel. And maybe we'll see a movie. The nice thing about Colombia is the movies are really cheap. So if you're wondering, money in Colombia is kind of weird. Unfortunately, like their food. Que son tan lindos. Parecen tan ricos. When you go to the grocery store, you're going to pay about the same amount of money on groceries here as you would in the States. Food's pretty expensive. Sometimes the restaurants are the same price, and sometimes you can get meals at restaurants for a lot cheaper, which is kind of weird that you can get a meal at a restaurant for cheaper pretty much than you can buy groceries. I don't know. Clothes a lot of times are about the same price as you would pay in the States. There are sometimes when you can find clothes cheaper and they're still really good. The thing that is cheaper are activities. Movies, going to an amusement park, going to just different activities are cheaper. So the Colombian people overall make quite a bit less money than we do. I'm not sure how they make it work, considering that food and clothes and things cost about as much as we pay. And maybe it comes down to their housing costs less, activities cost less. A lot of people ride motorcycles, which, you know, just cost less. Maybe just some of the other things like utilities and whatnot cost less. So, but just know when it comes to food, you're going to be paying about the same amount. But activities are a lot cheaper, which is nice. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of take it easy today, go to the mall, maybe see a movie, maybe go swimming. No. What? ¿Cómo es que llegaste tan rápido?
GG easy.
GG easy.
That's gamers.
Oh.
I think.
Bueno, yo say GG.
Sounds pretty stupid to me.
We're gonna go see Mario. We're not gonna see that one. Because Paula was like, no, I hate that. And then tomorrow, my daughter's looking through the window at me. Tomorrow, I'm hoping that we'll be able to go to Guatape, which is a really cool place. Really cool town, lots of painted buildings, and a rock with stairs that you climb way, 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 way up, which may not seem appealing to some people, but my family's excited to do it. So we'll have a cool video about that as well. All right, well, thanks for joining us today, and I'll probably interject a few of those videos from going to the mall and the swimming pool in here. Why not? It makes it more interesting, right, than just listen to me talk for, what is that, 15 minutes already? All right, take care. Thanks for joining us. Mwah. Okay, get him back.
No me puedes atacar.